I'm going to do my best to do a rapid fire FAQ for plant medicine and our upcoming Peru retreat, because we get a lot of the same questions in DMs, in emails, on our discovery calls. So hopefully this is helpful to you. And if it's not necessarily helpful to you, hopefully it's helpful to someone else. So the first question is who this retreat is necessarily for. I would say the majority of people that join us, they do have certain things in common. One would be being burnt out. We work with a lot of 9-to-5ers, a lot of professionals, a lot of people that are interested in spirituality, but also the majority of their time and energy is spent either being a parent, with the job that they have, sometimes being both. We do work with a lot of therapists. We do work with a lot of people that are also in this field, but they have other things going on as well. Dylan also brings up a good point where he says we also get a lot of people that are ready to push through to the next version of themselves. So say that you're already on your journey of spirituality, but you feel like you keep coming up against a wall. There's like another version of you that's on the other side of that wall. And no matter how much breath work and meditation you're doing, you're just not pushing over to that next side of like who you desire to be. And Dylan always says like ayahuasca is a really great medicine for that. I would also say people that have been carrying like really deep rooted traumas that, again, no matter how much meditation, how much breath work, all of those things, even sometimes sitting in therapy and talking about it over and over, no matter how many times you go over those things, you're just not breaking through to the next side. You're just not actually, what we would say is like leaving it in the bucket, right? Like you're going to purge at the retreat. That's not usually a frequently asked question, but you will purge at our retreat. We are offering purgative medicine, so that's also an important piece as well. With that being said, we do turn people away for our retreats. Why do we do that? We don't feel like every single person is a good fit for us. And yes, you could argue, well, if they really want to do all these medicines, they're just going to go find somebody else. So like, why don't you just take them on? For us as facilitators and practitioners, it's just if we don't feel like we are a good fit for you, and some of the people it's just like, hey, listen, right now we don't feel like plant medicine is a good fit for you, so maybe there's something else or somewhere else we can recommend you to go to and start doing or try. But sometimes our energies also just don't mesh, or sometimes we recognize some of the things that you're trying to work through. Maybe what we're offering is not best suited for you. Maybe one of the medicines is, but maybe the whole package isn't. And I'll get into why we do all of those medicines together a little bit later, because that's also one of the questions that comes up. The next question that we get quite literally all the time, are payment plans available? And at this point, are they still available? Yes, there are 3, 6, 9. And if you want to pay interest, there is a 12-month payment plan available as well. So again, we can get on the discovery call and you can look at the payment plan link and see what is best for you. We do this in the Andes in Peru. So is altitude sickness a real thing? Yes, it is a real thing. I will say everybody that has joined us, maybe they have the runs a little bit, but also we're doing purgative medicine. So like a little bit hard to tell. When Dylan and I visited Cusco for the first time, we both had altitude sickness. However, everyone that comes here, they land in Cusco and then they immediately come down into the valley. We've never had any issues with it, but yes, altitude sickness is a real thing and we take our precautions to support you in the best way possible. And with that, that's another thing. I guess we'll go back to that in a second, but another one that we get is, what's the weather like? So for June, we're doing this with the solstice, which is super exciting because it's a really auspicious time of the year here. They have their own celebrations going on, but weather-wise, it's dry season. It is winter, but in our opinion, like I love dry season because the awesome part about that is you can go and do all the things you want and you don't necessarily have to worry, right? Like during rainy season, you might want to go do a hike, but if it is raining really hard, like that hike is not recommended because it's probably not safe. So it will be dry here, but you're only going to be here for 7 days. So it's most likely not going to have an effect on your skin. We live here, so it does have an effect on my skin during that time. But it's cold in the mornings and then it's cold in the evenings. But during the day when the sun is out and there's no fucking clouds, it is quite hot. It can get, and you can definitely get some sunburn. Okay, and then going back into this. Okay, so first we'll start with, do I need previous plant medicine experience? No, we do take people that are new to the medicine. I think it's fantastic if you do have prior experience, but you don't necessarily need the experience to sit in this container that we've created. Why do we do so much medicine in the week? The medicines, and I can, if you're listening to this and you're more interested, we go into this in like Zoom calls that we do usually, but the medicines that we have paired together complement each other very well for what they do in your life. Again, to push you forward, to bring you to that next level, to allow you to move through that trauma and let go of those things that you've been really looking to let go of. All of these medicines work very beautifully together. And also the way that we now have it, that it's curated for a month before and a month after, is also really important to that piece of doing those medicines together. We're not just saying, come here, we're not going to talk to you about any of this stuff, and you're just going to show up. We're moving you through, like, imagine that it is just a whole road that you're walking down for 2 months. We're gonna allow you the opportunity to move through that piece, then move through the medicines, because they pair really well together for all different types of intentions that you need to work with. And then at the end, those post-integration experiences will also tie together really well also in the end. I'm quite distracted by the cat next door and the turkeys that live behind us. They always fall into our yards. Okay, what kind of support is available during the ceremonies? Dylan and I are available in every single ceremony. We are facilitators in every single ceremony. We do not serve the ayahuasca. We have one of our maestras come over, and she is the one that serves the ayahuasca, but we are still there. So even when it's pitch black in the ceremony, in the room for the ayahuasca ceremonies, we are still there to support you. You can always yell, and usually this does happen at some point, Dan, I need to go to the bathroom. And we will be able to usher you through that type of experience. Otherwise, Dylan is the one that serves the San Pedro. I am the one that serves the cacao. He is the one that serves the combo. And then the other person is also there as well. We usually have really small groups, so there's not really a reason for us to have a ton of other facilitators with us. But with that being said, you'll also get to know your group before you're even here, so you'll also know a little bit of each other's energies. And it's hard for me to explain when people DM me and say what type of support happens in the ceremonies. It's difficult because what exactly are you looking for and asking for? We both have trainings underneath our belt to support you through those processes, but it's a very like specific question. Usually people that are new to plant medicine have those types of questions, or people that are not new to plant medicine might be like, how many facilitators are in the space? Where are the bathrooms in relation to there? Like, we can answer those questions, but if you're one of those people that has that very specific, I want to know exactly how you're going to support me. Like, plant medicine is very unpredictable. So I might help you to the bathroom. My maestra might ask me to go do something and bring something over to you and ask me to put something over you. She might ask me to bring you up to her. Like, the support looks very different in every single ceremony, because also no ceremonies are ever the same and all the medicines are different. Another one, what does it mean to integrate before and after? That's also another one. Like, first off, you're going to be going through dieta before and after as well. So the integration portion, like in the beginning, is going to look different from the end, because in the beginning we're really starting to look at what is it that you're actually trying to move through in life. What are you trying to get through and go through and move on to? So the beginning portion is really just getting your mind and body, and that's part of the dieta process, is getting your mind and body as clear as possible, but also helping you integrate what are the things that you actually want to fucking work on, right? And then at the end, post-integration is obviously very different, because now you've sat with the medicine, you've had the messages, the downloads, whatever it is that you want to call it. Your body has, I mean, you're never going to be the same, right? After you sit with these medicines, you're never the same following it. So how can we bring those things that you received in ceremony in a conscious and sustainable way into your every single day life? So I hope that kind of answers that question. Again, we answer these questions much more in depth if you're on a Zoom call with us, because you can be more specific in your questions. What if I'm nervous or afraid? Bitch, I'm nervous and afraid before every ceremony. And something that I love, Maestra that we work with, one of our teachers, she's so funny. The first conversation I ever had with her, I was like, oh, I fuck with you so hard. Because I asked her what she thought about that. Like, do you ever get afraid before ceremony? And she was like, of course. Like, the more you sit with the medicine, the more that you understand, no ceremony is ever going to be the same. And the medicine's going to bring you where it needs to bring you. You can have the intentions, you can do the pre-integration, but the medicine is going to give you what you need, nothing more, nothing less, right? And so sometimes that means that you go into a ceremony being like, I'm going to work on ABC, because that's really what you're like thinking you want to work on, but really XYZ is what you need to work on. And then the medicine guides you through that, and she's like, so I'm still afraid before I drink the medicine as well. There should be a bit of fear there. People that are like, I've drank the medicine hundreds of times and I'm never afraid before I sit. I'm kind of like, okay, so are you desensitized to the idea of working with a medicine? Like, you should be showing up to understand, like, I'm going to have an open heart and an open mind to this. And healing doesn't always look beautiful. Healing sometimes looks quite overwhelming. So if you're afraid, don't worry. We will also give you the tips, tricks, and tools to support you through the ceremonies for all 4 of the different medicines. That's 1. But 2, if you are so afraid and so nervous, again, we do turn certain people away if we're like, this is an unhealthy nerve or an unhealthy fear that we don't want you to come all the way to Peru to be sitting with throughout the experience. You know what I mean? What's included? Quite literally, everything is included except for your flight here and any other things that you might want to buy. But like, as long as you land at the specific time that like we give you, you land in Cusco, we bring you down into the valley, and then you're pretty much just ours for 7 days. All the ceremonies are taken care of. All of the sorpresas are taken care of. That's one thing that people don't usually ask a lot about, but we tailor the things that go in between the ceremonies to the group. So if we have a really adventurous group, we'll do more adventurous things. If we have a really like chill group that maybe doesn't like loud noises or is afraid of heights, we might do more cozy and gentle things throughout the experience as well. But everything is paid for. You don't have to worry about that. Can I come solo? I love that a lot of people ask this question, and I think it's a really important question. It's actually really rare if we get people coming together as friends or partners, siblings, spouses. It's very rare that we get people coming together. Sometimes friends will come, but a lot of times people want to do these types of experiences on their own. They don't want to necessarily have the outside noise of their regular life with them for the experience. So yes, coming alone is a very normal thing. And I think the beauty of having pre-integration happen, and if you can't make the Zoom calls that we do for pre-integration, you're still going to get the recording anyway. And so you're going to get to hear people's voices of the other people that's in the group and all that. So I think that also makes it a lot nicer, is because sometimes then you get there and you're like, oh my goodness, look how tall this person is that I've only seen through Zoom for a month. And you feel like you kind of know them, but the special bond that you've created is specifically for this experience. And I think that's really beautiful. And then the last frequently asked question that also ties into kind of that, like, why do we quote unquote do so much medicine throughout the week, is what makes this retreat like different from other retreats that might be offering the same thing. Because the reality is, in today's world, I mean, there are 8,000 fucking plant medicine retreats happening right now. So again, if we're not the best fit for you, but you're listening to this and you really want to go on one, there is probably somebody that you maybe fuck with more than you fuck with us that's hosting a plant medicine retreat, or just a retreat in general. Retreats are very popular. I would say for us, it's the way that we keep the group really intimate and small. We do our best to focus on each and every single person. We have both, meaning Dylan and I, have both worked in places where you have large groups. And I'm so grateful when I've received messages of people saying, I did your breath work and you changed my life, or you took me to the bathroom that night. You were who took me to the bathroom, and it made such a difference for me. Or you said something that really impacted me. And I don't remember who the fuck you are because there were 40 plus people at that retreat. Like, it's not necessarily memorable for me as a facilitator when there are that many people there. Not saying that it can't be memorable. I usually remember one or two people from those types of experiences, but at the end of the day, for us, it's really important that we as head facilitators really get to know each and every single person. Of course, on the discovery call, we screen you. We get to know, what is your intention with this, and why did you even reach out to us in the first place? Like, what was it about us that you like sought out? So I think that piece goes into it, like the intimacy that we really want to get to know you, because we want to be able to 5-10 years down the line reach out to you and ask, hey, how's it going? Or you say, oh my God, this thing happened and it reminded me of what we did on that retreat, and you don't have to feel uncomfortable because you didn't really get to talk to us and didn't get to know us. We also want you to be able to feel comfortable with the people at the retreat. Not every retreat group like meshes together super well. If you've ever been on a retreat, you know, there are just, sometimes you go on a retreat and you're like, holy shit, like I will know these people for the rest of my life. And other times you go on a retreat and it was a good time, but maybe you guys didn't like bond as deeply. But for us, we still want to get to know you on a level where you're at least comfortable with us, if not with the group itself. The other piece of this is that we hold so much reverence for the medicines that we carry and that we work with. And although it may seem like a lot of medicine, yes, it's a lot of medicine within 1 week's time span. But, and we say this with love, we don't really want to see you at the next retreat. We don't want you coming and sitting on the retreat and then going, okay, great, I'm going to be coming to the next one. Like, then no, you didn't really work through what you needed to work through and grew from that experience. You kind of like got stuck there, you know? And that's not what we want for you. We want you growing from the experience. So we don't do retreats because they're money makers for us. We do retreats because we absolutely adore watching each and every single person's process of how they move through life. If we wanted to make a ton of money, like we would do something else, which we do other things to supplement our income, but just doing retreats alone, if we wanted to make money from them, we would never turn anybody away from our retreats. And there are a lot of retreat centers out there like that they'll take anybody. It doesn't matter if they've been screened. It doesn't matter if they've done dieta. They will just take them. And for us, that doesn't really feel good for us to bring you to the medicine knowing that we haven't checked off all of the boxes on our list for making it the most gentle and transformative experience that it can possibly be for you. Again, sometimes you sit in ceremony and, you know, it's not so fucking gentle, but you get what I'm saying. Like, we want to make sure that you're being taken care of, mind, body, spirit, and not just saying, yeah, come with us. And also the way that we do the medicines and the way that we surprise you with the things that go in between. And I think there's something so special about that. And I'm not saying, listen, there are some people that they're like, I need to know the fucking itinerary unless I'm not signing up. And that's totally and completely fine. But we're just not that for you. We tell you what days the ceremonies are, of course. We give you the layout of that. But the other stuff in between, I think, is just a nice way to, and I've always done this, I think it's just a nice way to allow people like a little bit of excitement. You're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know this was going to happen. And I think that can be really nice, especially here in Peru when you're traveling to another country and you're outside of your comfort zone and you might be outside of your regular comforts, right? Because like this is not just a different country, but you're immersing yourself in another culture. We also use a local owned space. It's not even necessarily a retreat center. It's just a local owned space that we use. It's absolutely fucking gorgeous and we love it there and we love the family that owns it. But that comes with its own challenges and whatnot. So anyway, these are most of the frequently asked questions that I have compiled. I mean, there are a ton more in terms of plant medicine, right? Like we've done some plant medicine Q&As because we get a lot of specific questions about ayahuasca combo, like, you know, and how that's going to affect this and how that's going to affect that. And what if this happens and what if that happens? We actually have a free masterclass coming up on Sunday, April 27th. It's at noon Eastern Standard Time. You can totally bring your questions there, but that's actually going to be a masterclass on the light and the dark and like really looking at integrating through the idea of shadow work. So a lot of people do have difficult journeys at one point or another when we start working with plant medicine. And so it's really important to understand, like, what does integration look if I had a difficult experience? Because it can look really simple if you had a great experience and you felt real fucking euphoric. But if you didn't feel so euphoric, it can be a little bit trickier. So with that being said, please comment your questions below. We close sign up very soon. The beginning of May is when we close it so that we can begin the pre-integration process. And we're sending a lot of blessings to you and to yours, and we hope to connect with you soon.